Kababayan Today, we are celebrating Ninoy Aquino Day on the show. Kung alam nyo po, eto po ang simbolo na talagang supporter kayo ni Ninoy. We have supporters of Ninoy here on our panel, and before we went to break, we were discussing the political climate of the time. So let's get back to that before we talk about how he served as such a big inspiration to all the Filipinos. So the political climate at the time was very, tumultuous, yes? And when you were part of that, talaga namang nakakatakot. Hindi mo alam kung biglang makikidnap ka na lang because you're talking against the government. I mean, this was really serious times. What can you share about that?
Well, I should actually mention na when Marcos declared martial law, okay, dito sa United States, practically instantaneous yung response in opposition. Kasi, and this is a part of the historical coincidence, some of the community-conscious folks here, the progressive folks, were actually having a first-time conference to get the Filipino community together.
Okay.
Nag-declare siya ng martial law. Ay di, yung agenda ng conference, pinalitan na, naging, tinutok na sa martial law.
Yes.
And that started the very first opposition organization here. Excuse me.
Ninoy also came to Los Angeles for
Yes.
several times, right, Andrea?
Yes, after his surgery in Baylor, he moved to San Francisco to rest. I met him there after his surgery, and then they moved to Boston. That's where he decided to stay. And then once in a while, of course, the opposition has been inviting him to come to Los Angeles and speak, as he did for the World's Affairs Council. He spoke, and then he started to be involved again. And at that time, there were many Filipino leaders. Raul Manglapos was here, Joby Salonga was here, Raul Daza was here, and several other ones that have been strong with opposing the martial law.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Tasmanians were here.
So the
Yes,
question
yeah.
is, because it's been such a long time, 32 years, a lifetime ago, what can people learn from Ninoy's life? Tita Prosy, what can people, ang mga kabataan ngayon, what can they learn from this?
I think one of the things that I learned is to lead with love. That's a common term right now that's being used in City Hall. But even then, as we were activists, we knew we were opposed to lack of civil rights, but we knew our love for our country was deep. Deep in the sense that we saw the strengths of people that we were organizing. And when you see strengths of people, you kind of combine their strengths, and it becomes a bigger synergy of love for your country. And you make a sacrifice based on that love for each other. So it's kind of like a solidarity that brings out the blooming of this love for your country.
Okay, so all of you have a direct link to the past, obviously, because you were there. But what about the second generation na dito na ipinanganak? So wala silang direct link sa Pilipinas. How can they learn about Ninoy, what Ninoy had to give up? Because he did give up his life. What can they learn from Ninoy, Andrea?
I think, well, history is important. It should be taught in school, and it should be also taught in our cultural classes here in the United States. And what you're doing, Giselle, is so wonderful that you're putting it. It's never been offered to us to talk about Ninoy in the past for as long as I've been here, except when during the martial law, I have to go on TV and answer questions. But we need to educate our children to learn and look at the life that he had. At the age of 16, he had a Legion of Honor from President Magsaysay. At 16, he fought. He didn't fight. He was a journalist in Korea. He was just a young boy. And he went there at 16. He worked at Times. He's really actually a journalist.
Yes, he started
First
as a
of all.
journalist before he became a senator. I want to say, though, that we have a very exclusive screening. Thank you, Andrea, for allowing us. We will be sharing with all of you kababayans a screening of The Candle of My Life. For the people that don't know what this is, what can you share with us what it is?
Well, it's a short story and a little summary of of Ninoy's life, his purpose in life, what it is that was important, and all the other relatives are including Tita Cory. She spoke about his life, on how he wanted to enlighten the Philippines. He was really a patriotic person.
Yes,
He
a patriotic person, right?
Yes.
That's why we pay tribute to him this entire week. Last words, Tito Enrique, about, celebrating Ninoy Aquino 32 years later.
It's not every day that we get a chance or we get called upon, to give the ultimate sacrifice.
That's right.
Okay? And Ninoy was very privileged in that. Right, okay, so that's one thing. But the real significance of his sacrifice is really EDSA. Kung tutusin mo, okay. And for the new generation, we don't have to look very far. Let's go to the Arab Spring.
Right.
Okay?
Well, yun na nga ang problema kasi a lot of people don't know. They have not been exposed to it. So I suggest, mga kababayan, look into our history, look into our past, and understand why we celebrate Ninoy this week, August 21, when we return an exclusive screening of The Candle of My Life, a poem that Ninoy himself wrote that they turned into a short film. We'll be right back.